It's a lovely weekend and it's good to have you join us again on Reporters Vlog. My name is Patricia Gasu. After the break, we'll be going to Ningo. My colleague Emefa Atiamwa Eli will be joining us and she'll be sharing her story. We'll be right back. Before I introduce her, let's watch her story.
Ariam is one of the coastal villages in Ningo. The men are mostly fishermen, while their women smoke the daily catch for sale. For these people, the choice of profession is by default. As long as they live by the sea, the most available and reliable profession is fishing and fishmongering. A few may also farm just to feed the family. Fishmongers here are yet to catch up with technology. They are still smoking fish the traditional way. Their stoves are made of cement blocks. They rely heavily on firewood as their major source of energy. Then is the specially built wire mesh braced with wood in a rectangular shape for smoking the fish. This is crafted by the village carpenter. Having acquired these basic tools for the job, residents say the capital to kickstart operations has neither been available nor adequate. It is the industrious nature which has kept them in business.
During
the season like this, what we need is capital to produce and stock in large quantity. But when it happens like this, and because we don't have money, we just collect everything for the customers so that they can buy it early enough for us to get the money and give it to the fishermen. Otherwise, they will sell their catches to mongers in other towns, leaving us without any. We also use firewood instead of gas, so if the government can help us, we will be grateful. Otherwise, we suffer a lot before we can get any profit. In these times, we don't make sales because there is no market for it. It is when it is out of season after 5 to 6 months before we are able to make any money. Anytime it rains, everything gets flooded and we lose everything. We need a fire smoker.
Often, these women buy the fish on credit. They only pay for the fish depending on how early they sell. Customers travel as far as Boko in the northern region to buy herrings which are poorly preserved here. They share their frustrations about the lack of ready market.
The market can be very bad, sales very low. We only keep doing this for the sake of our children. Otherwise, the work is not profitable and our transport is so costly. If we get the fish less costly here, we can sell it cheaper in our market. The basket here costs more than 500 Ghana cedis. But when you get back there, there is someone who wants it for 400 Ghana cedis. It's our work. Otherwise, what would we do? You can preserve this fish for a year and make good profit from it if everything gets well.
Until these women return to pay these fishmongers, the fishermen will not get money to buy fuel to power their boats. The situation some of the fishermen observed is affecting their operations.
Today, we did not get any catch. The women also buy on credit, and we will have to wait for them to return from the market before we can get our money. They don't even pay on time. We sometimes wait for 2 to 3 weeks before they pay us. The fuel is expensive, and it is not in regular.
Did say 1 week and not 2 weeks.
These fishermen also complain about the cost and irregular supply of premixed fuel. It is sometimes frustrating to go to sea because they don't always make good catches. Thus, they end up wasting fuel and they return home to wait for the fishmongers to settle their debts.
Welcome back. Welcome, Emefa Atiamwa. Awenam Eli. 4 names.
You're so lost.
Okay, Emefa Awenam Atiamwa Eli. Welcome to Reporters Blog.
Thank you very much.
We've watched the
story of the fishmongers and fishermen in that area.
But before then, how did you end up there?
Actually, yeah, I was actually on a different beat. I was working on a documentary, which is still not done yet, and I needed to give content for news. So then I ended up in one of the villages called Ariam, which is also a coastal village in Ningo. So I went there and I saw these women very busy going about their daily duties. I saw a whole lot of these wire mesh braced with wood on the bare ground with fresh herring. Some of them have been smoked and others in heaps, rubber heaps all over the compound. I was wondering, what's this about? So I decided to go there.
Is that when you were doing your documentary, you took a break and you decided to tour the town to see how things were, or what?
Yeah, I was supposed to have been interviewing somebody at that particular moment, but the person was not available. So I decided to use the time to do something else whilst waiting.
Okay, so it's like you didn't have the idea, like you didn't have it in mind that this is what I'm going to do. You just move in. Any interesting thing you see, you make a story out of it.
Precisely. Yeah, we are journalists, you know. You are curious. You want to see what's happening here. You want to understand. So I saw there was quite a distance from where I was, but then when I saw them afar, I felt if I should go closer, it would be interesting. So I got close to them only to realize that they were actually fish smokers who were going through the normal process of preparing the fish before it is smoked. Then I was talking to them about what they do every day. Then you realize that as the work involves a lot. The work involves a lot, right from getting the fish from the seashore from the fishermen, and then you bring it to your house. You have to dry it, and then you have to smoke it. But then that depends on the availability of firewood and support, because one person can't do that job. And they smoke in large quantities. You go there, you see heaps of fish stocked under rubber, you know, and not the way they preserve them too isn't so hygienic, and you'll be wondering, is this what I eat? The way
you love fish, the way you love fish. How was it? Because I don't. You're a lover of fish.
Yeah. I mean, fish.
So when you got there, you saw that condition in which they were preserving their.
Yes, I was worried. But you see, if you listen to them, they seem not to have an alternative. Okay. They are villages. They don't have the luxury of, I would say, a refrigerator or a better compartment of a room so that they could keep the fish there. So it's just the compound. So each time they smoke, they keep heaping and heaping and heaping, and then when the heat is out of it, that's when it cools down. Then they cover it with rubber.
Are there like people that have moved from a different place to settle there?
Yes, you have people moving from the Volta region, like Keta, Guzume, those areas. You know, these people all are coastal. These areas are all along the coastal line. So it's possible you have people from the Volta region moving all the way to that area just because they want to continue in the business of fishmongering. So you have them there. They don't originally come from there, but they are just there for the sake of the business.
Okay. I'm not cutting you, but you've been traveling a lot.
Yeah.
I know it's interesting being on the field, being out there, getting the story rather than sitting in the office and doing all this stuff.
Besides being interesting, if you be honest with yourself, if you look at the kind of stories we bring from the field compared to the ones we do daily here in Accra, there's a lot of difference.
Yeah.
And those stories, you don't always get them here in Accra. That's how come you have to go outside of Accra. Otherwise, we'll be feeding our viewers with the same kind of news.
Myself and the viewers, we want to know what goes on, what goes into this continuous traveling. Has the journey always been smooth? Or tell me about the interesting moment, the sad moments, because you go for days and then you come back as a mother.
Yeah, that's the challenge. And actually, that's where I wanted to start from. You know, and being on the field demands a lot, especially you are constrained by time and you have a lot to do on the field, but you're unable to do all of that given the time allotted to you. So as much as possible, you want to squeeze the little time you have and do what you can do, then you quickly come back. But even in doing that, you want to make sure that having come back, whatever you have, if you don't get the opportunity to go back, you still would have content to feed the viewers. Okay, so that's the drive. Like I was telling you about the journey, this particular journey. I'm working on a documentary, you see, and it isn't ready, and it is not like it's going to be ready tomorrow or anytime soon. So then, in the meantime, what happens? You don't just go and come back and sit until you get the next appointment before you go.
Yeah.
You and it's company resource and it's time, and yourself as being a journalist, you don't feel good because the story is not moving the way you want it. So then you sit down. You want to keep things going. So these are the things that get me busy all the time. That's how come I have to travel. So you go, okay, I didn't get everything I want, but what else can I do whilst waiting for the rest of the information I want? So on the field, you would have to go sometimes outside of the ideas that you have prepared to work on. So this particular story, I never planned for it. But then if you are traveling, as you are in the vehicle, you move around, you come across a lot of things. And like I was saying, the challenge is with the time. You want to, hey, would I be able to do this one? It's interesting, I want to do it. But if I should do it, what would it take away from what I have originally planned to come and do? So there's always that challenge. So anytime you have a little time, kind of, let me say, a break, or the things don't fall in line with your plan, then you quickly will jump to something like this and quickly want to pursue so that you can give content. So that's how come.
So meeting with some community leaders and the people in that particular community, like you've been to several places. You've gone to Ningo. You've gone to what's the name of the
Ariam.
Not just Ariam. You've been to several places.
I've been to Kumasi, I've been to Adan, I've been to Sege, all of these areas.
Your interaction with the people. Have you met? Did you by chance meet anybody who was not willing to talk to you, or because you're coming from Johnny, so everybody rushing to speak to you?
No.
For instance, one of your documentaries, My Physiology, My Shame. You were speaking with these kids, hermaphrodite. You saw it. I'm interested. How putting yourself in this whole situation? Because at the time you were talking to the kid and he wouldn't respond. And other people to you, it's like you're trying to speak to them and they're ignoring you.
When it comes to getting information from the field, it's very difficult. Okay. And let's still dwell on this Ningo story. Even starting the documentary, I'm telling you a story idea I've had for like 2 years. And you see, the nature of the story is such that even who to speak to
is a problem.
Is a problem. You don't know where to start from. And how are you going to put it across so that they appreciate the angle from which you are coming, so that they'll be prepared to support you or give you the information you want. So even getting an informant was a challenge after making several calls, having discussion with my head of department and colleagues about how to treat this. It's been back and forth. There were suggestions. I even would have to go undercover if really want to pursue what I'm doing, because it's very delicate. Yeah. But the situation is, even if I do that, eventually the thing is going to come on TV and they'll watch. So what would you do? So it's been a back and forth on how to handle the story. Then finally, I was like, okay, why don't I just go there once again on my own, not on the company's permission or any identification. Let me just go there and see if I can get, even if anybody at all will be prepared to talk to me about the subject. And also to confirm the very idea I've been harboring for the past 2 years. So one Saturday, I drove there. I told my head of department about it, that this is the story, but it's very delicate and it can be very controversial because it's seeking to bring about change in our community. So what do you suggest? So after a lot of discussion, he was like, okay, try it and see. So one weekend, I went there, and you won't believe it, it took me the whole day combing the town to get the ideal person to even open up to. Do you get me? To get the ideal person you open up to. Eventually, I got somebody, a very reliable source, a very reliable source who led me to a very key person in the town. You see how things work. But it wasn't easy. I'm telling you, I got there like 9 in the morning and I left there after 5 p.m. That should tell you what I went through, even getting that person to be able to take me to this key person.
Were you moving around asking, please, who can I speak to on this?
No.
I'm interested. Talk to me.
I got the idea. I got the story idea after I visited the place. Okay. On a personal visit there, on a personal mission. So when I got the idea, I was with some friends. So before I went back there in the bid to pursue the story, I contacted them. Do you have anybody in this town I needed to, because you remember this story we discussed, they were like, it's difficult, so you have to be careful, that kind of thing. Yeah. I was like, okay, so one person told me about somebody, actually a pastor he knows in the town. So if I could ask of that person. So I went there asking of this pastor, and the pastor was not in the town at the moment. Oh. And then who else can I talk to? I called the person back again. Pastor. Yes, I called the person. Okay, my great-grandfather actually comes from that town. Okay. So why don't you look for our family house, the family house, and then ask of this person to see if they can help. So after going to look for the family house, back and forth, oh, please, where is this place? Where is this place? a young boy around 18 years led me there, a gentleman, a teenager led me to the family house. Then, actually, the name they gave me, about more than 8 people in the family house bear the same name. Oh. So which particular individual were you referring to? And I was at a loss. I didn't know what to do. So they were like, okay, after back and forth, I had to link them back to my source. You know, they were like, okay, after a long chat, then they were like, okay, so let this person talk to her. So the person came out, we spoke, I said, oh, okay, you are in good hands. Then I'll take you to this person. So that was how come I got the permission to be going back there. Otherwise, after my first visit, I couldn't have gone back there again. So each time I have to go there, I needed to call and ask for permission and his blessing before I could go back there to do what I'm doing, I'm working on now. So
permission from the key individual and his blessing.
Yes, and his blessings. Because I needed it in the story on the documentary I'm working. It's very important. You wait until it comes out. So that's how I managed to start working on the documentary. So it's not all the time. So far I've been there like 4 times already. There will be times that I would have arranged the appointments and everything, but you go there and the person is not available. And you wouldn't want to waste the day because you would have gone with personnel and everything, equipment, and looking at the day. No, I can't, it's not me. So I'll be like, no, we have to do something. Then we'll go around and see. You know, we are news people. The listing you see around, you say, oh, this is interesting, let me tell it. Let me tell it. So that was how come I got to meet these fishmongers and fishermen, and after interacting with them, I got to know that, oh, there's an interesting story to tell about them. And then I told it.
MFA actually has lots of documentaries coming out. I believe you have to stay glued to Joy News in order to enjoy these stories from the various community. Anyway, I wish I could talk more, but it has been nice having you on Reporters Blog. Even though you didn't tell me all about
the challenge, that's the Hermafrod. Yeah, we didn't do the. We will do it. You know, radio will be carrying it very soon, and they will hype it again. So I could come back to the studio so that we do it proper. But for now, let's concentrate.
So when you saw these kids, let me just chip that one. When you saw these kids, what came to mind?
I felt like
you saw like two organs.
Oh God, I think I'm blessed. I'm lucky. You know, the situation is such that their parents or whoever you could think of had no way of preventing it.
And all 6 children.
Yeah, it just happened. And when it happens, then you look for solutions. So that if you are blessed with children who don't have such conditions, you go like, oh God, I'm blessed. Because you don't have a say. You don't actually have to do anything to get these children. They just
like a
come
punishment
to you.
or anything.
They just come to you. So that tells you how blessed you are. You should be thankful to God for whatever you have.
We should be.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for your
and
time
those who need
Reporters Blog.
And those who need it, you'll be asking God for support for them. And that is what we are doing in the story of
we just hope that this document, when radio airs it and we bring it back on air, we'll get all the needed support to help the family.
Sure.
Anyway, thank you so much. And that was my colleague MFA Ewenam Eli Atiamwa.
See, you're lost again. Let's take it again.
Okay, MFA Ewenam Atiamwa Eli. So which one is the surname?
Atiamwa Eli.
Atiamwa Eli.
Yes.
Isaac, I don't want to continue. Now let's take the sound bites of the week.
This is a college called Polytechnic or whatever. They want to be called universities so that they give them degrees to also go to the offices and sit and do nothing. Because this is doing nothing time. Everybody wants to be doing nothing. Everybody wants a degree to go and do nothing.
Why do you say that?
What do you produce here? What do? Your degrees here. PhD, they say PhD, everybody says PhD, PhD, whatever. Huh? What do they do with that PhD? You know the meaning of PhD? Post-Holocaust dementia. All those people with PhD are suffering from a disease called dementia.
Why?
Because they come out with the degrees and can do nothing for this country. Even light they can't give. Water they cannot supply. Nothing they can do. They just want the degrees to sit and say, oh, I'm PhD, I'm PhD. You see that? Pulling each other down. Another name. Pull him down. Another PhD.
Thank you so much for your time. My name is Patricia Gasu. Stay blessed.